Well, good morning, Business 20 students. This is week number 6 in our 8-week course in business mathematics here at Norco College, spring 2026. And this week, you're going to be looking at two chapters that I find to be the most interesting, and it is completely different than what you've been doing. So it's not building on anything that you've done up to this point. So hopefully that's good news. You're going to be looking at chapter 16 on inventory and chapter 17 on depreciation. And I'll just say this, that both of these chapters tie into chapter 15, which we're skipping one week, but they both tie into what's called your financial statements. So your income statement and your state balance sheet. So income statement and balance sheet and how you record inventory and how you record depreciation can be different depending on what your goals are as a business. So, for instance, if you show that you have high inventory costs, that's going to actually lower your overall profits, which means you'll probably pay less taxes. If you show, and that's great if you want to pay less taxes, but if you're trying to sell your business, you might want to show higher profits, and you can do that by having lower inventory costs. And that means that you're going to show more profits, and that's going to make your business look a little more marketable. So it really depends on what your goals are as a business as to how you calculate your cost of inventory and how you calculate your depreciation, whether you want to do it quickly or whether you want to do it slow. And so these two become very interesting, the different methods for which you can calculate them. And this ties right into, by the way, your accounting class that you'll be taking. In fact, the next couple of chapters will work hand in hand with accounting. So we're going to look at the most primary methods of inventory. We're not going to look at all of them, and we're also going to look at the most primary ways of depreciation, and we're not going to look at all of them, just so you know. So that's what we'll be considering in these two chapters. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to go ahead and share our class in Canvas. So here we are. And by the way, we're winding down. We only have 3 weeks, counting this week, left in the class. And so we're finishing up quickly. You look at chapters 15 and 21 next week, and then you'll be looking at chapter 20 on the final week of our course. But let's scroll down here. We're in module number 3, starting today. And that brings us to, or actually starting last week. This week, we're going to be looking at module number 3, week 6. So again, you have a read me first and a help Sienna for week 6. This is putting everything in the context of business, the math in the context of business, as well as in the context of Sienna's business. There's a study page for chapter 16. There's a study page for chapter 17. These are going to show you where to study in the book. And there's some videos of me working out problems. There's some YouTube videos, etc. And then you have a formula sheet for chapter 16 and 17, which you don't necessarily need, but it's basically taking the sections of the book and explaining how to do the different methods of inventory. So you will have that at your fingertips with the formula sheet. Again, you have a check-in assignment like every week. So you're going to be downloading the worksheet. You're going to be working out the problems. Then you're going to be launching the quiz, which I'm calling a check-in assignment. And then you're going to use the drop-down menus that are in the questions in order to input your answers. All of the correct answers will be given once you click submit. You can take this up to 3 times, I believe, if you get anything wrong. And then when you're done, you want to upload your worksheet. So I see that you worked out the problems. It doesn't matter whether you got them correct or not in the worksheet. What matters is that you upload it. So anyway, then you have a quiz on those 2 chapters as well. And yes, there are fill-in questions on the quiz. You're also continuing your case study number 3. I'm going to leave it up here for now, but it'll be down here when you watch this video. And that is the case study on inflation. So you need to first figure out how much does the amount you need in 5 years going to grow with inflation, because it's going to be more than what you're thinking today. If it costs you 5 million today, it's going to cost you more than 5 million in 5 years because of inflation. So you need to figure out, well, how much is that 5 million going to be in 5 years? And then you need to do a sinking fund where you're working backwards from the amount that you now have to what you need to put in every day today, or every month today, or every year today in order to have that in 5 years. So you're doing 2 parts. One is a compound interest problem, and the second part is a sinking fund, which you learned about last week in your assignment. So make sure you review that, get that done. And that's, again, so you're going to have a check-in assignment, a quiz, and then continue to work on the case study for this module, which will end this week, by the way. It'll be finished, so that will be due this week. So make sure you get that done as well. But yeah, that's it for week number 6. I will be doing a video again on week number 7 next week, so be watching for that. But until then, have a wonderful week.